Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. We are the odds couple. I'm Peter Loshak. His name is Mike Brenner. Today is February 28th. Mike Brenner, March is less than 12 hours away. Mike Brenner.
I know it. I'm fired
March
up.
Madness, I can feel it. And Mike Brenner and I, of course, we did this last year. We're doing it this year. We're doing seeding trends video covering every seeding matchup. And right now we're going to cover the 5-12 matchup, which, of course, notorious for upsets. And I've done a ton of research here, Mike Brenner. Some of this might blow your mind. All right, now everyone talks about how the 5-12 seeding matchups, everyone, it's the stereotypical upset seeding matchup of the tournament. Over the last 6 years, Mike Brenner, I happen to know it right here. Out of the 24 games, how many times did the 12 seed advance, and how many times did the 5 seed advance? There have been 24 games over the last 6 years.
Wow, I would say that the 12. I'm going to say 10 times.
10 times. Very good guess. It's actually 11 times.
Ooh, I was
It's
close.
almost 50-50.
Yeah.
So when you're doing your brackets, it's been, over the past 6 years, it's been almost 50-50. The 5 seed has advanced 13 times. The 12 seed has advanced 11 times.
And I do remember last year when we were breaking this down, some of these same stats were being tossed out there.
Yes, but of course you do have to be careful because 2 years ago in 2015, all of the 5 seeds advanced.
Everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
But that also means that if you don't count that year, then the 12 seeds have advanced more often than the 5 seeds.
Then be more than, almost more than 50%.
Right.
Sure.
So with a record like that, as you would expect, also ATS-wise, the Dogs have a great record. Over the last 3 years, Dogs are 7-4-1 ATS, and the 3 years before that, the Dogs were 7-5 ATS. So you're not going to want to blindly bet on them, but if you do, you're probably more likely than not to make some money, Mike Brenner.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I like that theory.
Absolutely. All right. Now, of course, it's always possible that the market, can catch up, variance can happen, and all that stuff, but in general, I think you want to assume almost 50% in terms of advancement, and look to the Dogs for value. Now, looking at so now let's look at the possible 5 seeds this year. I'm going by just the Joe Lunardi bracketology projections right now. SMU, Virginia, Cincinnati, and Notre Dame. When I look at that group, I think any of those teams could lose outright.
Wow, there's no doubt, especially like the SMU at that level. Notre Dame's already proven they could lose there as well. Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, Cincinnati, of course, already lost to Rhode Island on a neutral site this year.
That would be my first one out of those 4 you named would be Cincinnati. And again, these are speculations.
Yes, these are speculative, but Cincinnati in 2014 was a 5 seed that did lose outright to Harvard, if you remember that.
Wow.
That's right.
Wow.
So they've already done that in 2014.
That's right. That was Harvard's magic year. Yeah.
And if you look at Virginia, I mean, we know Virginia, a great program, but if their offense shuts down, one of these 12 seeds definitely beat them.
Big time.
And
because that's probably going to be a big spread. It might be inflated.
Yes, exactly. It might not. The spreads tend to be
a little tighter.
There's variation. Some of the spreads are as low as 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Last year, though, Indiana was a surprisingly big favorite. They were an 11-point favorite by Chattanooga, and they actually covered by a margin. Wow. A rare favorite margin cover. So maybe in the 5-12 matchup, if you see a big spread, think about maybe tells
taking
you,
it. Lean that way.
And definitely, if you see a big spread, that's not one of the 12 seeds that you want to look to fade. All right, and also, Mike Brenner, I was looking at the possible 12 seeds this year and the possible, the teams that are in the running for that. Listen to some of these names. Any of these teams could get a win over one of these 5 seeds. NC Wilmington, Vanderbilt, Providence, Nevada, UT Arlington, Marquette, Seton Hall, Princeton, USC. Monmouth, Eastern Tennessee State, all those possible strong 12 seeds this year, Mike Brenner.
Vandy, Nevada, and Providence, I definitely think could beat with those teams on any given day, and especially with the lines depending. So I may be leaning Dogs on that one.
Right, and depending on how the rest of the season goes, those teams might be 11 seeds, 13 seeds, but those are all the teams that are in the running for 12 seeds. And I don't know, Notre Dame, you've had a good read in general on Notre Dame. You've taken them a lot this year, and overall, they do have an excellent ATS record, both home and away. So I don't know, is maybe a Notre Dame the team out of those 4, SMU, Virginia, Cincinnati, Notre Dame, what do you think would be the strongest team?
I probably would say I'd probably say Notre Dame. It's a toss-up, but and especially Mike Bray as we get closer to tournament time. That's when he's really that seasoned coach, that just absolutely pours that confidence into his team. So I think it's safe to say Notre Dame. But if they did get upset, I wouldn't be shocked.
And the thing about SMU this year is that they have been the poor man's Gonzaga. Great ATS record this year, game in and game out. I think they're 18-5 ATS, something like that.
Not getting a lot of respect either. So
that might continue. In the tournament.
I think it could.
If the market might have have to make a significant
They're
adjustment.
Very well coached team, Pete.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they don't worry about going on the road. Neutral courts to them also is in their favor. So,
yeah. All right. So let me just sum up, and then if you have anything to add, we'll do that. I think to sum up, again, this year, some years there are strong 5 seeds. 2 years ago, all the 5 seeds won. This year, I'm seeing some relatively weak, vulnerable 5 seeds and a whole bunch of possible 12 seeds that could upset. So I would say definitely look for at least 1 or 2 straight up upsets. And as far as the spreads are concerned, who knows what they'll be, but in general, lean towards the dogs, right?
Exactly, and I would say Cincinnati might be the first one to drop if I had to, and I like Notre Dame to carry it through.
All right.
I like it, Pete. You did your homework, baby.
I did my homework. Are you excited for March Madness?
I can't wait. I'm fired up, Pistol Pete, ready to pull that trigger, baby.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.